The Baltimorons, directed by Jay Duplass, which is a name you probably recognize because he is one of the Duplass brothers, and Duplass brothers do lots of stuff, but they really got their claim to fame when they started doing or became kind of big members of the mumblecore kind of indie movie kind of rise in the, I want to say, mid late thousands, somewhere in that range. And you see lots of Duplass stuff coming out. If you see, look up their names, you'll see a lot of things that you have probably come across in the last 15 to 20 years. So this one, the Baltimorons, probably takes place in Baltimore, of course. There's three main stars in here, three main actors. Actually, really two. It's really a twofer. Mostly it's Michael Strassner, Liz Larsen, and Olivia Luccardi. Olivia Luccardi plays a small role in here. It's mostly Liz Larsen and Michael Strassner. And you know what? I was going to write their names down, but it's hard to catch their names because on IMDb, it doesn't list their names. It just lists the actors' names. And then I was dumb enough not to notice their names when I was watching the movie. I'm actually kind of terrible about names. I just go like, the guy that did this. So we're going to kind of do that in this review. Great setup here for a documentary in that we have Sad Sack, mid 30s comedian dude, schlubby, a little bit overweight. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a more lovable, huggable kind of version of the guy from Let's Start a Cult. This guy, Michael Strassner, is kind of in that ballpark. Every man dude, every man kind of chubby, white, middle-aged dude from the East Coast kind of guy. And it starts out with him, trudging up to his attic, tying a belt or a rope around his neck, getting on a chair, tying it to the rafters, kicking out the chair, and the rope breaking. And he falls to the ground, and he just kind of gives a look, almost like Charlie Brown missing the football. It's like, can't even do that right, kind of a shrug. Flash forward, and Sad Sack Dude is with his fiancée, driving off to his fiance's home on Christmas Eve for Christmas Eve dinner. And, his life seems to be doing better, but, he still seems to be going through life. And as he walks up to the front doorstep, he puts his foot on the doorstep and a brick comes loose and he immediately tumbles face forward into the door frame, breaking one of his teeth, bleeding from his mouth. Freaking out, he runs off to find a dentist while his fiancée stays behind with her family waiting for him to return. And, well, it's Christmas Eve. It's kind of hard to find a dentist. Somehow he finds a woman who will come in and open up the office. She has a small dentist office somewhere in Baltimore. Looks like just kind of in the suburbs or somewhere. It's just kind of nondescript. And this woman, Dee Dee, the dentist, she's probably about 50. She's definitely older than him. She comes in and she's very, very East Coast and just kind of straight to the point, sarcastic, sardonic. Not sarcastic as much as sardonic, and kind of just like, okay, what? Yeah, okay, move along, buddy. We'll do this. And he's like, oh, I'm so happy. Someone came, to fix my tooth, and people aren't going to be open on Christmas Eve. You're the only person I could find. She, gets him a temporary filling and gets him squared away. They're all done. He goes out to the street, and his car has been towed. She sees his car's been towed. He begs her to take him to the tow lot, to the the lot where they keep all the impounded cars. And so begins an adventure. And then this turns into, I didn't know what this movie was going to be. I thought it was going to be like maybe a family dinner, like Christmas Eve dinner drama comedy. And instead it becomes one of those a night journey kind of movies where like everything happens pretty much in one night. And it's going from place to place with a character or two characters. And in this case, the kind of the magic ingredient is that you've got this older woman dentist, this kind of sad sack fiance, dude, who aren't really stuck together, but by circumstances, they kind of end up staying together through this kind of long, convoluted night, going to a variety of locations. And it plays out like an extended first date. And you're like, well, wait, he's engaged, right? It's like, he is. But it still plays out like an extended first date. And like any extended date movie or long one night kind of a movie. The success or failure of the movie is kind of goes on what are their, how much of the characters are you getting to know? How much do you like it? How much do you like the characters? How interesting and fun and engaging are the different situations they get in? And let's just say, situation number one. Well, situation number one was the dentist, of course. But once the two are together, situation number one is he's got to go get his car from an impound lot on Christmas Eve. How's he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And what's going to happen from there? And then it just goes forth. And I ended up really kind of loving this movie quite a bit. Both characters, super likable, super relatable, I think. They are both very flawed, and there's awkward moments and funny moments and heartfelt moments and moments of pathos and real moments. It's just one of those movies you don't get as much anymore, where you just have two characters that you get to know really well in a very simple situation, but one that just kind of pulls you along, and you end up kind of rooting for these characters almost from the get-go. And you almost root for and against them in different ways, and I don't want to say how all the things go, but at the beginning you're already kind of torn, because you're like, am I rooting for a romance between this unlikely duo when I know that he was with another woman and they seem to be fine? It wasn't like she was abusive. The first woman you saw him with, the fiancée, she, like I said, not abusive. She didn't seem like a terrible person. In fact, it seemed like they had a pretty, from what you saw in the first, 5 minutes, they seemed to have a pretty okay, decent relationship. So you're not rooting against that, but there's just something about the unlikely kind of collision of these two kind of broken people, but like I said, in really realistic ways, but a kind of unrealistic and fun kind of situations that occur throughout this night. Once again, I really like the Baltimorons. This is the kind of movie that, sure, see it in the theater, it'd be good because you want to support movies, support small filmmakers. If you have it near you and you're in the mood for that kind of thing, go for it. But this is the kind of thing that I think will live and thrive when it gets onto a streaming service, because it's one of those movies that you could stumble across and just find being an absolute surprise, and just like, once again, you say a gem, but this is something you would hold close as just like, wow, why did I not see this? And this is also one of those movies you could recommend to a lot of people. Like, you have the grandma or the mom or that person that you can't relate, really, you can't suggest some of these crazy movies to, but this kind of movie you could, and they could really get on board with it. I'm going to go 4.5 stars for the Baltimorons. I mean, it's a really good movie. I don't know what else to say. You should check it out.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.